Hello everyone. My name is Tara. Welcome to my channel. On this video, I will be discussing sexual trauma in Black families. I'm going to be very transparent and honest because I think that is a valuable trait and an asset as a person, a believer, a mother, a wife, etc. I was molested as a child, as were several of my sisters. By whom I won't reveal. For one, I was the third grade when it happened. I'm 27 now. Though it had a grip on a large part of my life. I thank Jesus that through prayer and through just putting people in my life that really that were really a support system, a true support system for me, that I was able to heal and forgive, and he was able to heal those wounds. Um, so I'm just gonna say that. Um, but it's not something that, and I'm glad it's just now, and I'm really mean just now being something that we're having an open dialogue about. Um, because before it wasn't something that was talked about, and it's still rarely talked about today. Um, what I notice is the lack of protection. Because this is how it happens. You leave your kid around who done it and what for because they're family. Um, the incident happens, or the situation happened because it's not an accident. But the situation happens, and hypersexuality takes over because that is a very real thing, and that happens. They, the child is not, has no knowledge and should not have any knowledge of sexual anything at such a young age. But hypersexuality takes over. Then you call them fast because you don't know, and they're not really confident and comforted enough to tell you about it. Um, then they have sex. And they're a slut. Now some people don't outwardly say it to their young daughters, and some people do. But that's what comes to your mind. Then when they get pregnant at a young age, you say, I raised them better than that. And truth is, you did raise us better than that, but you did not protect us. The necessary protection, which was needed on all sides, was not there. It was partial protection. And this is not to speak down on my mother in any way, shape, or form, because I love her to death. And like I said, forgiveness is something powerful, and I have given it, and I have accepted it. Um, and this is not just something that's supposed to be done by mothers. This is something that's supposed to be done by fathers. And there are fathers who have hurt their own children. There are grown men in families, young men, teenage men in families, teenage boys in families that hurt young girls. And vice versa, because there are women who target young men and little boys. Um, but just to be honest, I was one of those broken people, and I was having sex, and I was a teenage parent. I had my daughter when I was 18. And as much as I was so upset at having a baby that young, um I could not deny like the sexuality inside of me and where it came from. Um and I think that is a huge thing in the Black community that we don't talk about. We're more about protecting that person than we are protecting our children. And in some extreme cases, I've heard of people, women, protecting their boyfriends over their daughters. If my baby comes and tells, I don't care if it's my 3-year old, if she comes and mumbles anything to be about anything sexual, and my husband is not crazy, I do not believe he would ever do anything like that to my children in a million years. But if the devil got a hold of that man to the point where he was crazy enough to try something like that, and my baby walked in this room and said something like that, I would probably kill the man or beat him to a pulp. At least until the police get there and make sure he has a pulse. Um, but gosh, I just want to say that no relationship, no man, no penis is worth the security of your own children. No job is worth the security of your own children because I made that mistake. I made the mistake, and my daughter was not sexually abused by a babysitter or family member or anything like that. But I made the mistake of leaving her with a babysitter who was not vetted all over a job. And yes, there were other factors, uncontrollable factors that went into that. But at the end of the day, it was my job as a mother to protect my child, and I failed to do that. Long story short, my daughter at the age of 3 ended up with third-degree burns on both of her legs. She has scars up to her knee, well, under her knee. Skin graft scars on both of her thighs. Because in a weak moment of judgment, I let somebody watch my child that was not far from qualified. Though she is in jail every single day, that guilt is there. Um, excuse me. Um, but that is just something that made me realize, because I was young and I was dumb. Um, that just made me realize my brain was all out of whack. No man, no money, no empty promise is worth the security of your children or yourself, for that matter, if you don't have children. Um, but what needs to happen, because we in the Black community, we believe in it takes a village to raise a child. And it truly does take a village to raise a child. But you have to be knowledgeable of who is in this village, because not everyone in the village is for you and your child. It's for the betterment of you and your child. Some villagers are predators. Some villagers are out to kill, steal, and destroy. Some villagers see your child as a piece of meat. Some villagers can't wait to get their hands on your child once you're not watching. So you have to be, and this is just for any family, you have to be knowledgeable of who's in your village. And it took me a minute growing up with children at a young age. And I'm 27 now, but it took me a minute to understand and figure out, weed them out. You're not in my village. No, you can't watch my kids. No, my kids can't go around you. No, they can't go there. No, they can't spend the night here. It's a real slim list of people's houses my kids can spend the night over for a good reason, for a very valid reason. Because the protection that I did not get as a child in certain areas, I will not make that mistake again. And I will not allow my children to go through that trauma. I will not allow that part of their youth to be stripped away from them as young ladies or young men, because it does happen. We need to understand. And if you're like a teenager watching this, baby, anybody that's significantly older than you does not think you're mature. That man is a pedophile. And young man, that woman is a predator as well. Don't be letting your girl sit in all these niggas' laps. Don't be letting all these dudes around your baby. I don't care if they are family. You watch your kids. You don't leave them with everybody. Because everybody, like I said, all those villagers do not have the best intentions. And that is real. But we can heal from the trauma. Forgiveness is a big part of healing from that trauma, because forgiveness is not for the other person, it is for you. The more you hold on to that hurt, the more you hold on to that pain, the more you hold on to that abuse, you're giving that individual power over you. You're giving the devil power over you. Because as long as you're holding on to some part of brokenness, he knows that you have that. And he can twist that in any way, shape, or form to make you feel any type of way. So just understand, forgiveness is a big part of it. Oh, and I am wholeheartedly believe in sending people to jail. I don't care if you're family or not. You will go to jail. I will put you in handcuffs myself, right after I beat you to a pulp. Then wait for the police to get here and make sure you got a pulse so I don't go to jail for murder. Then I will walk you to your cell myself and slam the door. So yes, I believe in calling the authorities as soon as it happens. Ain't no figuring it out. Ain't no conversation. I have called the police. They're on their way. You need to get yourself in order. That's how that happens. So I would say, as a young mother, as a mom, period, check on your kids. Have conversations with your children. Make sure your young men and your young women are all right. Ask them if they've ever been in these situations. Let them know that you are a safe place and that they can confide in you and they don't have to be fearful of you when coming forth with this information. Be a safe place for your children. Make sure they are protected. Watch who they go with. Watch who you go with. And just be honest. I think if our families were more honest about who's who in this village, we'd be stronger as a community. Because healing and forgiveness in the right way with the right people creates unity. And unity is something that the devil hates, especially unity under Christ. So let's make sure to keep our babies protected, keep ourselves protected. Watch who we are around, watch who we bring our kids around. The influence is what we want let our kids see and watch. And have open dialogue about these things. Because we have to understand that our mimas, our nanas, our Gigi's, they are passing away. They're going on to glory. Now, if they're still here, you shall have them. That is absolutely a blessing. But we have to come to the understanding and the honesty and the knowledge that one day they're going to go on to glory and will be here no longer. So we have to keep that wisdom, that understanding, that protection, that knowledge in our family and pass it on to mother, to father, because without that, we're wicked generation after wicked generation, and we're going to continue to have the same cycle of sexual trauma, of brokenness, of unforgiveness, of lack of unity in our community. So I do hope that you, if you have experienced that trauma, if your children have experienced that trauma, I hope that you have an open dialogue and that they have an open dialogue with you and that you get this figured out and you heal from this. You take the necessary steps. If authorities need to be called, call them. But have that open dialogue. And even if there's not any sexual trauma, like your child doesn't come up to you, go to them. You don't wait for horrible things to happen. You prevent them. So go to your children, talk to your children, have conversations with them, make sure that they are okay. That's a big part of it. And we can, like I said, we can heal as a race, as a village. We can heal. But I definitely hope you enjoy this video. I hope that you gain insight from it. And I hope that you get healing from it. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever shall believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. People, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the light, and there is no way to the Father but by the Son. He is love, and he will be the best decision you ever made. Goodbye.